video essay will discuss a challenge of motion to film in the digital age. My chosen topic is about games and how with motion capture technology, games are becoming much more like an interactive film, and where do we start drawing the line between the two? First, let me explain a bit how motion capture works. Motion capture sessions involve the movements of actors many times per second. Only the movements are recorded, not their real visual appearance. The animation data is then mapped to a 3D model which is enabled to perform these actions that were captured. While the mocap technology does not capture the likeness of the actors, in some games like Until Dawn and The Quarry, they do use the actors' likeness as the game characters when designing the 3D model. And I would like to focus on that for a moment. These games are using real actors. A few notable names such as Rami Malek, who plays Josh in Until Dawn, and Brenda Song, who plays Caitlin from The Quarry. You can see these characters are being played by their respective actors. They are acting just how they would act while filming a movie, voicing the lines as if it was an animation, and are also the faces of the characters. So in that respect, there isn't much difference between the basic development of those games compared to real movies like Avatar and Avatar: The Way of Water, which use the same technology just in a different format. Walter Benjamin has said films do not inspire because the artistic expression is centered in the film camera and editing techniques that end up breaking the physical connection to an awe-endowed place or object. I think with these types of interactive storytelling games, you don't have to be as worried about the audience and players becoming unimmersed, as they are forming more of a bond with the characters and the world, as they are literally playing from the character's point of view. And interacting with objects as the character, and as the character, you have more options to explore where you want, whereas in movies, you're often just being dragged along by the character instead. Also, with not being limited by an actual film camera, actors may not have to do as many takes or reshoots. As long as the movement is right, in the game edit and rendering stage, they can change the angle, environment, and even make micro adjustments to the movement. Along with not having to worry about if the boom mic is in shot, or other visual mistakes of a similar nature. Whereas in true live-action films, they have all these restrictions of props and settings and camera angles, which could mean they have to do reshoots due to mistakes or need of another angle. You may also be able to explore more places, or with special effects, it may be easier to tell a horror or fantasy story and keep it immersive, as there will often be no change in quality in what you're looking at. While with movies, sometimes making a horror or fantasy creature look realistic compared to the live actors may be hard and break immersion if it's too different. This also applies to movies like Sonic, where the first design was just bad, and the company got bullied by fans to make it better, along with in general just bad special effects in editing, which can be seen in the 2019 Cats movie and recent Marvel movies. In conclusion, I think these storytelling interactive games could count as movies. Lev Manovich said, "Cinema works hard to erase any traces of its own production process, including any indication that images we see could have been constructed rather than recorded." The way I see it, these games are working just as hard to make themselves as realistic as possible, as film-like as possible, and it's working. I'll watch playthroughs of these games just as I would a real movie, and react and feel as though it was a movie. In my opinion, there are way too many similarities in the way these types of games are made versus how some films are made, and that if they choose to, they could be called films.